Welcome, everyone. So today we're going to tackle a reasoning topic that I know can feel a little bit tricky. Blood relations. You know those questions, his brother's mother's sister, they can really get your head spinning. But trust me, once you have the right technique, this is actually one of the easiest and highest scoring topics you can get on your exam. So in this session, I'm going to show you exactly how to master it and make sure you get those full marks.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about why these questions seem so tough. Then, I'm going to introduce you to our secret weapon, the family tree method. After that, we'll dive right into solving the three main types of questions you'll see on your exams: coded, descriptive, and pointing questions. And finally, we'll wrap up with some super important pro tips for speed and accuracy. Sound good? Okay, let's get right into it. First things first, let's get one thing straight. Blood relation questions are not difficult. They are designed to be confusing. The real challenge isn't the relationship itself, it's the twisted, tangled language they use. The examiners are basically trying to trap you in words. But guess what? We are not going to fall for it. We're going to learn how to translate all that confusing language into a simple, clear, visual diagram. And that brings us to our secret weapon, the family tree. Seriously, once you learn how to draw this, it doesn't matter how complicated the question is, the answer will become crystal clear. You'll never have to solve these questions in your head again. So let's learn the 5 simple symbols we'll be using. Poet simple, eh?
Okay, our first symbol is for male members. Whenever we come across a male in the question, a father, brother, son, uncle, we will always represent him with a square. That's it. The only thing you need to do is be consistent. Male means square.
Second, for any female member, we're going to use a circle. A mother, sister, daughter, aunt. All of them get a circle. This simple visual cue completely removes any confusion about gender. So just remember, square for male, circle for female. Got it?
All right, now let's start connecting people. For a husband and wife, we connect the male, our square, and the female, our circle, using a double horizontal line. Just think of it like this. A double line signifies the strong bond of marriage. It's a married couple.
Now this next one is super important, so pay close attention. For siblings, brothers and sisters, we use a single horizontal line. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. You have to remember, double line for a married couple, single line for siblings. Getting these little details right is absolutely key to getting the correct answer.
And our final symbol is for the generation gap. To show the relationship between parents and their children, we use a simple vertical line. The line always goes down from the parents' generation to the children's generation. This is so crucial for tracking relationships, especially when the question involves grandparents or in-laws.
So, have you got the symbols? Perfect. Chalo, let's put them into action. We're moving on to our first question type, coded relations. In these questions, relationships are represented by symbols like plus, at the rate, and so on. Let's solve a real exam question together.
Okay, here's the question. I know it looks a bit intimidating. S plus P plus R at Q and T and V. But don't get scared, it's just a code. Our job is to be detectives, decode this piece by piece, and build our family tree. Let's do it together.
Let's start with the very first part of the expression, S plus P. The code tells us that A plus B means A is the father of B. So S plus P simply means S is the father of P. Let's draw that. S is the father, so he gets a square. And P is his child, so we draw a vertical line down from S to P. Right now, we don't know if P is male or female, so we'll just leave P as is.
Okay, on to the next piece. P plus R. The logic is exactly the same. P is the father of R. Now, this gives us a really important clue. We now know that P is a male, so let's update our diagram. We'll change P into a square, and since R is P's child, we'll draw another vertical line down from P to R. See how the tree is growing and becoming clearer with each step?
Let's quickly add the rest of the pieces. Next up is at Q. The code says at means brother, so R is the brother of Q. That tells us R is a male, so he gets a square. And because they're siblings, we connect R and Q with a single horizontal line. Moving on, Q and T. The code for and is daughter, so Q is the daughter of T. We now know Q is female, so she becomes a circle. And T is her parent, so we draw a vertical line going up from Q to T. And finally, T and V. Again, and means daughter, so T is the daughter of V. This confirms T is female, gets a circle, and we draw a line up from T to her parent, V. And just like that, we have our complete family tree.
Now for the final step, answering the actual question. How is P related to V? Let's just look at our diagram and connect the dots. We figured out that P is the father of R and Q. We also figured out that T is a parent of Q. Now just think logically. If P is Q's father and T is also Q's parent, then T must be Q's mother, right? This means P and T are a married couple, so let's connect them with that double line. Now the final piece of the puzzle is that T is the daughter of V, so let's trace the connection. P is married to T, and T is the daughter of V. What is the relationship between a man and his wife's parent? He's the son-in-law, so P is the son-in-law of V. See how a super complex code becomes a very simple answer once you have the family tree?
Excellent work! Let's move on to the second type now. These are descriptive puzzles. So instead of a code, you get a small story or a paragraph. But guess what? Our secret weapon, the family tree, is going to work perfectly here as well.
Okay, here's the question. You can see it has multiple sentences. The trick is to not get overwhelmed. Just treat each sentence as a single piece of information and add it to your diagram step by step. Let's break it down together.
All right, let's build this tree piece by piece. First fact, T has two sons and an L. So we draw T, we draw a vertical line coming down to two squares, N and L, and we connect them with a single sibling line. Done. Next fact, P is the wife of L. Simple. We connect L with a double marriage line to a circle, P. Now it gets interesting. R and S are grandsons of T. This means they're the sons of either N or L. We're not sure where to put them yet, so let's just hold that thought. Let's read on. M is the mother of S, and S is the only son of his father. Okay, let's connect the dots. M has to be married to one of T's sons, but L is already married to P, so M must be the wife of N, and S is their only son. Now what about R, the other grandson? Well, if S is N's son, then R must be the son of the other brother, L. And there you have it. Our tree is complete. So the question is, how is N related to R? Look at the diagram. R's father is L. N is L's brother. What do you call your father's brother? He's your uncle. So N is R's uncle. See? It's just like solving a fun puzzle, one piece at a time.
Okay, let's move on to our final type of question, the pointing questions. These ones can sound a bit dramatic, you know? Pointing to a photograph, a woman said, but honestly, they are often the easiest to solve. Let me show you how.
So here's the question. A man introduced a woman as the daughter of his father's sister. Now, for these kinds of questions, the #1 pro tip is to always start from the my or his and work your way backwards. So in this case, we'll start with his father's sister. Let's just break it down together verbally. His father's sister. Think about your own family. Who is your father's sister? She is your aunt, right? Your buwa. So the phrase, his father's sister, just means his aunt. Now the question becomes much simpler. The daughter of his aunt. And who is your aunt's daughter? She's your cousin. So the woman is the man's cousin. See? For questions like these, sometimes you don't even need to draw the tree.
So there we have it. We've solved all 3 major types of blood relation questions. I really hope you're feeling a lot more confident now. But before we finish, I want to give you a few final pro tips that will help you save time and, most importantly, avoid silly mistakes in your exam.
I want you to remember these 4 simple steps to success. 1. The moment you read the question, quickly identify all the characters. 2. For coded questions, immediately write down what each symbol means on your rough sheet so you don't have to keep looking back. 3. This is the golden rule, you guys. Always draw the family tree. Never, ever try to solve it in your head. It's just not worth the risk. And 4. This is a classic trap. Never assume someone's gender from their name. If a name is, say, Kiran or Sonu, you cannot decide if they are male or female unless the question explicitly tells you. So, I want you to remember this. Blood relations is just a puzzle, and like any good puzzle, it always has a simple solution. You now have the right technique, the family tree method. All you need to do now is practice. The more questions you solve using this method, the faster and more accurate you will become. And you will, for sure, get those full marks.
अगर आपको ये वीडियो हेल्पफुल लगा हो तो प्लीज़ लाइक, शेयर और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना। सारे PDFs के लिए मेरा टेलीग्राम चैनल ज्वाइन करें, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। कीप वॉचिंग